What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I'm going to be going over my tips and tricks for Gears 5 multiplayer for beginners. So, if you guys are watching this and this is your first Gears of War game, well, welcome. It's actually my first one as well, at least my first one owning. Now, I've played a couple of the Gears games in the past, but this is the first one that I, actually have in my possession. It was actually given to me by Microsoft, so I'd like to thank them very much for doing that. But so this is going to be talking about the basic things you need to know, or kind of what you need to expect going into Gears 5's multiplayer. And just like you, again, like I'm fresh. I have never played, this kind of, Gears multiplayer is very, very difficult. It's very different. I think it's very unique, very, very good just in general. But it's very difficult to get into it and to be very good at, just because of all the systems going on. So I'm going to try to break it down a little bit, at least, again, what you kind of need to know going into this multiplayer. The first thing is knowing the guns, and not just knowing the guns, knowing what you're getting yourself into, which includes maps and characters. Now, characters in this game have their own abilities. Characters can be leveled up. This is for all multiplayer modes as well, by the way. So knowing their ultimates, knowing which character you're going to pick, leveling them up, knowing what gun you're going to be using, whether it be like an automatic gun or whether it be a shotgun. Obviously, you can go around YouTube and look at like the best shotgun montages for Gears of War in the past. Even Gears 5, it's obviously a very, very popular thing. It's because it's, well, I guess, maybe satisfying, but it's also extremely, extremely effective. So knowing those things, knowing the layout of the map, Gears 5, and really all Gears multiplayers, but Gears 5, any multiplayer game, I would say as well, knowing the map is the best thing to do. You can learn spawn points. You learn where the power weapons will drop, and power weapons are exactly what you would imagine. It's where there's going to be a lot of traffic directed, okay? And they'll drop at random points throughout the match. They'll drop at different locations, but you can start memorizing where they're going to be on each map. Another thing that's very important, obviously, if you guys watch any Gears footage ever, is wall cover. Wall cover, bouncing off walls, using cover to your advantage, and all things like that. Knowing where they are in the map is extremely, extremely important, and you really only get that by playing it over and over again. It's like any racing game. It's like any multiplayer game. It's like anything like that. Knowing the map itself, you can learn like back routes. You can learn flank options. There's a lot of things you can learn just knowing, or not even learn. There's a lot of things you can use to your advantage if you know what the map is like going in. And again, really the only way you do that is by, consistently playing the same maps or just playing the game quite often. Another thing is sticking with your team, not being like a lone wolf. Now, I think this is a problem that occurs in a lot of multiplayer games. Battlefield may be slightly less. Battlefield is kind of that game where it's more of an emphasis on a team, but games like Call of Duty and just other multiplayer games in general tend to be where you can break off from the pack and you can be just fine. Or at least people will just generally do that. You can do that. You'll see a lot of videos of people doing that, but you generally want to stick with your team, have some sort of formation, have some sort of plan. Again, flanking, just how you're attacking the enemy in general, maybe taking a hit so your friend can do something. Those are the things that you have to be willing to do. And again, in this game, really the difference between winning and losing, or not being alive and being alive, I don't want to say the word because I don't want YouTube to get upset, is a couple shots. And especially if they're using the Nash or the shotgun, it's like one shot. Possibly a sniper as well to the head will one shot, take you out. So it's only a matter of a few bullets, very, very quickly. In this game, things happen very, very fast. And that's another thing I think you guys need to be aware of going into this, is things are going to happen very, very fast. Actions are going to be taken in this game extremely fast, and especially if you're playing with the best players. I mean, they're going to get you and they're going to get out. And that's another thing, is knowing when to get close and stay far away. Now, this was an interesting thing. I actually watched another video talk about this, and it does make a lot of sense, especially, again, with the shotgun, sniper too, but the shotgun, depending on your aim, depending on how close you are, it can be a one-shot takedown. Now, if you have a lot of health, you don't want your enemy to do that to you, right? So you want to stay farther away, or as far away as you possibly can, while also, taking them out. If, however, you have very, very little health, the best opportunity or the best thing to do is actually to charge them. Now, you can melee as well as, or melee, however you guys want to say it. We'll say melee. You guys can melee the enemy. 2 hits will take them out, and then 3 hits will count as that execution. But if you're out of ammo, you can do that. But just generally being as close as possible to your enemy, look, at that point, it's a one-shot takedown no matter what. So if you're low on health and you get extremely close to them, one of you is going to win. And you basically have equal chance because it doesn't really matter how much health you have if you're very, very close. So running up to them is definitely good. Another thing, and this caught me, and this is something that I probably should realize as well, is the executions, while they look really cool, and I think, if you've heard of Gears, or again, if you've seen Gears in the past, you probably know those executions. When the enemies are lying on the ground, they're crawling away, you can execute them, but this is basically just an open statement for the enemy team to attack you while you're doing it because you're stuck in that animation. So it's best to not, executions are cool looking, they're fun to do, all that stuff, but at the same time, they take a lot of time and you're completely defenseless. And what you'll often find is people just either, again, meleeing the person or just shooting them when they're on the ground, okay, and just eliminating them altogether. You don't want to necessarily waste your time doing that. Reloading. Now, reloading is a pretty popular thing. A lot of games, more modern-ish multiplayer games, or not even some games even do in the single player, reward you for doing reloads at the right time. And this is one of those games. If you do the reload at the right time, and you want to constantly be reloading, just all the time, because if you do it right, you get a damage booster for a couple seconds after you nail that reload. So it's good to be doing it on the fly. Another thing is using cover to your advantage, and it's not always necessarily even going in cover. You can trick the camera, and a lot of players will do this. They'll stand behind, say, a pillar, and you can see with the camera, you can direct the camera to see enemies coming. You won't be stuck in cover, and the enemy can't see you coming, but you can see them coming because you have that camera, that third-person viewpoint. So it's very, very good to use that. And also, the whole bouncing off the walls thing. The walls are great. Walls can be used as cover. Walls can be used to push an enemy, but you don't always want to be on the wall. Okay, you want to be moving. That's why you'll see a lot of people say that hip firing is very, very good in this game. You don't want to be locked into actually aiming, and that's honestly, I feel like for me, a really big problem. I just personally in my own life have a really tough time doing hip firing in almost any game ever. Maybe it's because a lot of the early games I played, or just even maybe like, PS3, Xbox 360 era, a lot of games will kind of penalize you, or you don't really get the most out of just hip firing, blind firing, stuff like that. But in this game, there's totally reason to do it. Blind firing is a valid method to do as well, and hip firing, again, as long as they're close to you, if you're using the shotgun or even just an assault rifle or sniper, whatever, hip firing allows you the mobility to continue moving. If you zoom in, you're kind of locked in. It's a lot harder to move around. And again, you kind of move like a little heavier. You'll notice this game has that kind of feel to it. At the same time, like I said in the beginning, this game is so fast. Things happen so fast because players are constantly charging. Players are, they're taking cover, but again, they're doing that bouncing method where they're kind of like slingshotting around, and they'll do that with shooting as well. It can get, you can be right up in front of somebody and still miss because people are moving around diagonally left to right. They're aiming, weird. They're going back and forth. It is possible to dodge shots when you're directly in front of a person if they're attacking you. It really is because things happen so fast in this game that you just have to be ready for it. So locking yourself in basically to anything, an animation, which is those executions, reloading if it takes you a long time, like if you don't nail that quick reload, again, staying into cover, anything like that, or looking through your reticle to take a shot, any of those things, you're locked in, and things happen so fast in this game. A lot of this game is like the one shot and you're done kind of thing, and that's just how the game operates. With that being said, Gears 5 is a phenomenal, the multiplayer part is absolutely so much fun. It's an absolute blast. Let me know in the comments below, guys, if there's any tips and tricks that you recommend for new players as well. If I missed something or there's something you guys notice as a new player, or if you guys are, experienced people in this game, leave in the comments how to help us beginners out. I would be much appreciated. Thank you, as always, for watching. I do honestly greatly appreciate it. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys hit that bell icon. We're giving away Gears 5 on the channel. channel for free. So if you guys want it or you guys know somebody who wants it, you can win it for them. You can, get them to come to our channel. Any of those things, it'd be much appreciated as well. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all in the next video.